This is Tracing Trust, a short video series on media authenticity infrastructure, what it is, why we need it, and what could go wrong. In this video, we talk about censorship, free expression, and who might be shut out of authentication apps. There's no doubt that deepfakes are a new and powerful way to spread disinformation. Much of the discussion around them has made a big deal of the idea that they will end trust in video, though most of the fake content we see on social media comes from much more simple manipulations, like videos taken out of context. In light of these deepfakes and shallow fakes, you might think that any way we can increase that trust, like content authentication, must be a good thing, right? Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Technological solutions often involve trade-offs, where two values are in conflict and we have to compromise between them. In the case of deepfakes, we can largely agree on the need to fight disinformation, protect people from abuse, and reduce fraud. But it's not always clear how to do this without increasing surveillance or chilling the right to free expression. To understand the dangers, we can look at some laws that have already been passed on so-called fake news and how they can be abused. In 2019, Singapore passed a fake news law that left it entirely up to the government to decide what was true. As a result, the law has been used to discredit critical voices by forcing anti-government posts on blogs and social media to be labelled as false. And in Tanzania, since 2018, all bloggers and podcasters have had to pay the government more than $900 for a license to operate, in a country where most of the population lives on less than $2 per day. Again, the Tanzanian government used fake news laws as a way to censor opposition. So one big worry is that while today we're being asked to opt in to content authentication, at some point in the future it will become mandatory. This could be a safety concern in cases where activists need to conceal their location, protect the identity of people in photos, or just don't want to give the government access to their data. So we need to make sure that in these cases, sources that can't or won't use authentication methods can still be seen as credible. There's also a question about whether authentication apps will work on all types of phone, particularly older models or rooted devices. These can be more common in parts of the world where people don't have access to the latest hardware. So if they're not supported, whole regions could be shut out of the authentication loop. Even if everyone does have access to authentication, we still need to be careful about the signals we use to show what can and can't be trusted. For example, verified accounts on YouTube and Twitter can still spread misinformation, and both companies have come under fire for verifying accounts that posted problematic content, because having a blue checkmark seems like an endorsement, whoever you are. It's hard to convey the fact that verified content isn't necessarily accurate. It's proof that a person said something, but not that that thing is true. It's also possible that bad actors could manage to fool the authentication process, and then have a powerful way to spread lies. That's why it's risky to put our faith in just one measure of trust, when it stops us thinking critically about the message. Content authentication is a great idea, but we should use it as a signal of truth, not the only signal. We can't build a perfect system for everyone, but when we compromise, it's important to consider people with varying needs, especially outside the US and Europe. To learn more about content authentication, read our report, Ticks or It Didn't Happen, or visit witness.org. Thanks for watching.